Now we're going to put the walls around our house, and first of all we're going to put our exterior wall around. Now, to understand walls, we really need to come in and have a look at what a wall family is. Now remember, I said before that a wall family is a systems family. It can only be built inside Revit. You can't import those in from third parties. So if we go into our wall and we go in, we've got two basic walls in this template. We could have a lot more if you set up your template or you brought in some other wall types or created some wall types. I've got two set here. This is aerated concrete with a 250 veneer, and we've got a brick veneer with 250 as well. So what it's saying there is the bricks are 250 wide with the gap. Sorry, the whole thing is 250 wide with a 90mm timber stud. So let's go and pick the AC veneer, and you can use either one that you want to. You can use either the AC veneer or you can use the brick veneer. So if we go into edit type now and have a look what we have in there, we get our types property come up, and this shows you how a systems family is built. If we look at the structure, we click on edit, we come up with this. So if we were starting a new one, this is what we would see, and it would have these two core boundaries, and then we can insert various other levels. And if we look at this one here, we have a finish, which is gypsum, 10mm thick. The core boundary doesn't have anything in it. What it's actually saying is anything in between the two core boundaries are what is actually support material. Okay, and in a brick veneer wall, surprisingly, a lot of people might think it's the brick that holds everything up. It's actually the frame, whether it be timber or steel, that holds everything up. So in this case, we've got a timber frame which is made out of 90mm pine, and that's actually our structure between the two cores. On the outside of that, we've got a gap between the timber and our brick, or in this case concrete, which is 50mm, and we're calling that an air infiltration barrier. And we've got right on the outside, which is our finish layer, we've got our concrete lightweight 100mm thick. Okay, so our 150 is what's going to go on our set down on our slab. So that's what it looks like. If we click on these, we can actually go in and choose different materials, and I don't want you to do that at this stage, but we'll look at that at a later date. We can go in and choose all different types of materials from the library, but we don't want to do that. Later on we'll be coming in to do some editing on this as well, so we'll have a look at that in a minute. So if we just preview that, you can see this is what it is actually looking for like. We'll just do a section. We've got your core and you've got your aerated concrete, and if we look at it in both sections, there's the aerated concrete, here's the core, here's our gyp rock here, and there's our air gap there. Okay, we'll be coming back in here in a minute because we need to alter this. So just cancel out at this stage. As I said, you can pick either the aerated concrete or you can pick the brick veneer. Same thing. If we go in and have a look at that, you've got the same thing happening there, except the material is masonry brick, and it's 110, and that's 50. That might be a bit wide. You might need to change that to 100, otherwise it's not going to fit on our set down. So if you're doing this, you will need to, if you're going to use bricks, you'll need to change it to 100. But if you're going to use the aerated concrete like I'm going to use, then you don't need to change anything on that one. Just remember, it won't fit if you're trying to do it like that. So I'm just cancelling out of that in a moment because I'm going to choose the aerated concrete. So how do we put it in? I'll come in, I'll make sure I've got my aerated concrete selected, and I need to set up some constraints. I need to have the location line on the finished face exterior. Now you can either change it in here, or you'll notice it comes up in a toolbar up here as well, where you've got a choice of all of these different things: center line, core center line, core face, core interior. But we want finish face exterior. We're going to go around the edge of our house and put that in. Okay, so we also want to have chain selected. At this stage, offset, don't worry about it. Now we need to know where it's going to go up to. Just make sure you come into the top constraint. Usually it will be on unconnected. I've actually just set this up earlier. And you want to go up to the level of top of plate A. Okay, now we're ready to put our walls in, and it's pretty easy because we've got our slab and it should follow our slab around. So I'm just going to zoom in here. I'm going to start here. I'm going to go over to here. You'll see that it's on the right side because it's going up onto the slab itself. Coming down. As soon as I get on those corners, I'm getting that little box happening. Coming right out to the edge of the garage. Just following along. Really simple, this part, once you've got it set up. And up, back up to the corner. Make sure you pick the outside. And there's our wall in. Okay, so I hit escape a couple of times. If I go and have a look in 3D, you can see that we've got our wall in. But hang on, we've got a little bit of a problem here. I've put it in at ground floor, and remember ground floor is the top of the slab. So what we're actually seeing is that the set down there of 100 mil, the outside wall hasn't come down all the way. It's all sitting up on the top. Okay, so we've got to do something about that. That's not correct. There's several things we can do, but the best way to change this is that we go in, we pick one of the walls so that it comes up here, go into edit type, come into edit, and I'll just get this so it fits on the screen a bit better so you can see it all. There we go. And we've got our preview up, and we go into our section. And once we're in our section, we can then click on modify. And if we click on modify and zoom in, and we pick that, we can unlock it. And we want to pick the air gap, and we can unlock it. And that one's still locked. And that one's still locked. So that's what we want. We want this one unlocked. It's just a matter of clicking on it. We'll unlock it if mine's unlocked at the moment, but yours may not be. So just make sure they're unlocked. Okay. Once they're unlocked, if we go back to our drawing, we just go OK and OK again. We come back to our drawing and we come in. You see you've got two little arrows there. One's for our outside and one's for our wall. So we just drag that one down till it touches the side, and we just work our way around on each of the walls, dragging that outside one down. We could drag both of them down actually, because that's just the air gap, that one there. We could drag that down, but I'm not going to worry about that one. Oops, I'll just undo that a bit. I'm just dragging down the ones that the outside one. So it'll be on each one, so we can just drag that down till it highlights. You might have to just get in there and have a look, just make sure it is going down. Click on your next wall. There we go. And just keep spinning around and make sure you're grabbing the wall. Oops. If that happens, just roll your mouse button until you can see it and then come over. Again, make sure it's that outside one coming down. And I'll just pause here for a moment and do the... Okay, now you can see that we've got all of those pulled down now. And just to check that, if we come into, remember our sections, I think section 1 will be good. If we have a look at section 1, we can see now, if we just make sure we're on fine, you can see here's our wall and our gap have both come down onto the slab, but our interior wooden wall and the little gyprock wall that goes with it are still up on the floor level. We can't see the top there. If I just show the crop view, I can actually move that up a little bit so that you can see the top of the wall. There it is there. And so our walls are going up to our top level and they're coming down to our little step and they're right up to the edge there. That's perfect. Okay, so get your exterior walls in. Choose which type of material you want to use, either the brick or the aerated concrete. If you want to use the brick, do please remember to go in and edit type, edit, and make sure you make that measurement 100. Okay, and okay again. And really, if you don't like that, you can actually go in and change them. So if you pick one of the walls and go into wall and pick the brick and come back, just move back on, you can see I've actually changed that one to a brick wall. Now that one I haven't done the pull down with, so you'd need to do that as well, so for that to happen, but I'll just click Control Z and undo, and I'm going to stick with the aerated concrete with just a rendered cover color on the top of it, and so far that's looking good. Make sure you do a save here and go on to your next video.